Good
Good
evening.
evening. Welcome to Sunday Night Satsang with
Hello.
John and Michelle.
Hi, everybody.
Hi. So tonight we're going to go back to basics, and this is the first in a series of Sunday Night Satsangs when we're going to go back a little bit and look at the basic things of what is spirituality, what is meditation, who are you, basic things like that.
Absolutely. We just wanted to ask you, if you have joined us already, if you can just tell us if the sound's okay, because we're trying something a little different tonight. So if someone can just give us a yes, that the sounds are fine, that would be great.
Then we would know. So tonight we're going to be looking at meditation.
Yeah, the basics of meditation, because
Basics
everybody
of-
assumes that everybody meditates happily,
Yeah.
and some people don't really, and
That's
don't know
right.
how to.
So what is meditation? How can it help you in your life, etc., etc. So that's what we're going to be doing tonight. And in keeping with that, we're going to be starting with the meditation. So
Yeah.
we're going to start out in the normal way by withdrawing our mind from all other times and all other places and just becoming centered in the present moment.
Thank
Do you have anything from an astrological point of view to share with them after the
you. A
meditation?
little bit.
A little bit?
Yeah.
Good. So we've got an astro update from Michelle.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to know what's going to happen on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
No, we're not.
Oh, okay. All right.
Thank you for the sound check, everybody. That's
Okay.
great.
And just let us know if the sound does go a bit wonky while we are speaking, because sometimes when we use this mic, the sound, our voices go a bit deep and it sounds like we've got a cold. So if that happens, just send us a message and we'll pick it up. Thank you. And let us know where you're from. We love to know who we're talking to, which part of the world are you from. And while we're speaking tonight, if there are any comments, questions, we can't always see all the messages, but do add them in the comments box. We'll definitely get back to you afterwards. And if you're enjoying this, then please press the like button and share it. Let this vibration, this energy go out into the world.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
let's start this evening by centering ourselves, withdrawing our mind from all other times and all other places, and becoming centered in the only place that exists, and that is the present moment. So you might like to just gently close your eyes and take a deep breath in, filling your lungs right the way up, and then that beautiful, long, relaxing, releasing breath out. Just let it all go. Let's try that again. A deep breath in, and this time pushing your tummy out, so you're drawing the air right down to the base of your abdomen, and then that releasing, lovely, long, long, long breath out, and just relax your shoulders as you do that now. Let's take another very deep breath in, right down to your feet this time, so you can imagine the air going right down to those little toes of yours. And then as you release, just release all that no longer serves you with the out breath. Just let it all go. You can pick up your problems and worries a bit later, but right now just let it all go. Let it all go. And now just let the energy, the intelligence we call life breathe you gently. So you don't have to force the breath anymore, but just keep your awareness on the breath. But just allow life to take over the rhythmic flow of the in-breath and the out-breath, and the slight pause between them. Drop your awareness from your head into your body. Become aware of the chair you're sitting on fully. Feel the sensation under your bum. If you've got a backrest, then settle back further into your backrest and feel the support of the backrest. Just feel that support. Feel your feet wherever they are. Maybe they're on the floor. If they're on the floor, connect through your feet to Mother Gaia. Just with your imagination, just feel that connection to Mother Earth and give a thank you, a big thank you to Mother Earth for the support that she gives you. She supports your body in so many ways. And now from the crown of your head, just picture a light, a connection, an umbilical cord going up to Father Sky. So you have your feet connecting beneath you with Mother Earth, connecting to that grounded energy, very solid Mother energy. And from the top of your head, you feel that column of light going up to Father Sky. Feel your body being pulled up, so you actually lengthen your neck, particularly the back of your neck, the top of your head being pulled up. So your body is quite straight, quite upright. And say thank you to Father Sky. From Father Sky comes the solar energy and the air that we breathe. And we are the conduit between Father Sky and Mother Earth. We're that sacred connection between the two. You, each one of you, right now, is a unique part in the cosmic dance. Very precious, very needed by the universe to complete the whole. Each one of you is important to the unfolding of the entire cosmos. Feel this centeredness in your heart, for your heart is the connecting point between Mother Earth and Father Sky. Mother Earth and Father Sky, connect in your heart through the power of love, because love is connection, love is communing, love is a sense of oneness. And in your heart right now, say a prayer of thank you for being this divine connection, this important part of the cosmic unfoldment of consciousness. You are a unique point of consciousness in the whole field of consciousness. And say thank you. Thank you for the honor, the privilege of being here tonight. And from this place of love, of connection within your heart, let's say a big thank you to all of those on this call tonight. Feel a sense of connection from your heart to everyone in this satsang tonight. And feel this connection coming back to you as well. And then send it once more down into Mother Earth and up to Father Sky with a sense of gratitude. And now focus for a moment on the beauty of just this moment, on the sacred essence of life in this moment, the preciousness of presence. Becoming aware of all these sensations that your body is giving you in this moment. Becoming aware of the sounds. You can hear my voice. You can hear many other sounds, maybe faint sounds. Listen very carefully and see if you can pick up the beating of your own heart in your eardrums. Listen very carefully. And notice that it is the stillness within you that truly listens. And when we connect with this stillness that truly listens, we connect to the field that connects all of life. It's called the field of love. The field of love is this place of stillness that listens. Without judgment, without need, without anticipation, just listens. You are this space. You are this field of infinite love. You are the beauty of the cosmos. That's your true essence. Just settle down into the stillness, this quietness, just relaxing even more your shoulders, your neck muscles, See that your arms maybe are getting heavy. Your eyelids are relaxed and heavy. Your jaw is relaxed, your tongue maybe resting lightly behind the top front teeth, touching the palate of your mouth lightly. Focusing your awareness on the tip of your nose, being aware of the in-breath and the out-breath, and that beautiful pause between the two. Feeling centered between Mother Earth and Father Sky, with a sense of gratitude and love for being here tonight. Now gently take a very deep breath in, pushing your tummy right the way out, drawing the air right up to your top of your head and down to your toes so your whole body fills up, and then a lovely sigh out, lovely long sigh, and being aware of this beautiful space of peace that you're in right now. Gently, when you are ready, you may open your eyes. Thank you.
Thanks, John. That was
Thank
lovely.
you. Thank you.
Welcome, everybody. It's always lovely to meet up on a Sunday with you all, so thanks for joining us. So we're going to talk about meditation tonight, as we said in the intro, and just a very small update. Astrologically, we have now entered the season of Pisces, which is when the sun enters Pisces, and so it'll be there for a month, and that's kind of a relief because it's a little bit softening after all the harsh kind of heady energy that we've had, because over the last few weeks we've had 6 or 7 planets in Aquarius, which is an air sign. It's quite mental, it's quite heady, it's quite busy, and it can be a kind of quite a wired energy, a kind of for some people have felt it to be quite anxious and a little bit wired. And so with the Pisces energy coming in now, we're going to have the Sun and Venus both in Pisces, which has actually softened everything down to a little bit. So that's the entry into that Pisces season. And Pisces really is the sign that encourages us to let go and to surrender. It's the end, it's the last sign of the zodiac. So where Aries is the first sign, Pisces is the last sign. And it's the end of the year's cycle, actually. So New Year should actually be where the sun goes into Aries, which is really the start of where there's something new happening. And so for the next month, we're in the final stages of a solar cycle. And so it's always a good time to go within, to clear out, to surrender, to let go of whatever we don't need from the year that's gone past. So it's more than just any old sign. It's actually quite a big sign. And it's a sign that's very connected to divinity, to beingness, to really what we teach, and to what some of you have experienced with us. That instead of all the doingness, it's the being. That's really Pisces. Pisces is the sign that is ruled by Neptune, which is the king of the ocean, where everything is connected, all is one. There is no difference. And the symbol for Pisces is the fish. And I mean, fish don't bash into walls. They swim around and they all swim in the same sea, and they're all one in the same ocean. And we are too, but we just feel more separate. So you can kind of see the ocean as what John was talking about in that beautiful leading meditation, was that the sea of love, the sea of oneness. And that's what Pisces is as an energy. So whether you're a Pisces or not, or we've got any planets in Pisces, it's irrespective. It's we all feel these themes of energy. They're just energy waves. That's really what astrology is. It's a study of energy. So we can align with them or we can fight against them. And so this is really a little bit of a softening, a little bit of going in, feeling, processing, surrendering, and connecting with something bigger than what we see as reality. So connecting at a very much deeper place. This is we leading up to a full moon, on the 27th, and that's going to be in Virgo opposite the sun. So I'll do a little video on that sometime during the week. But this is a good one to start with because we've just entered into this season. So
it's a good time to go fishing.
I guess if you're a fisherman.
Pisces?
If you're a fisherman.
Oh, okay. As long as there's nothing fishy about this month. Yeah, so what Michelle was saying there is to enter this ocean of oneness, and we're actually in that ocean all the time, and the only thing that blocks us from that is our judgmental, preferential thinking mind. And, we often talk about people avoiding the pain by addictions. And the one addiction which very few people acknowledge, and most people are not aware of, the biggest addiction we have is to the thinking mind, to this continual chatter going on in our head. We're addicted to it, this judgmental mind that has to have an opinion on everything. And that is what blocks us. That's what separates us from this ocean that Michelle was speaking about.
And the thing is about the mind, that there's nothing wrong with the mind itself, because the mind is a useful tool, but we actually believe it.
Fully, we believe we are it.
We believe we are the mind, and we believe everything it tells us.
Yeah.
And that's not true.
It's allowed to have an opinion.
It's allowed to have an
but
opinion,
it actually
but
doesn't know the
definitely
truth.
don't believe it, always.
No.
Whatever your mind says, it doesn't necessarily mean it's telling you the truth.
Yeah. If I've learned one thing in the last 20-odd years, it's that truth comes from here, from within me, right here.
Yeah.
There's just a sense of knowingness. And I've always had that. We all have got that. But we don't listen to it. We trust our mind more than what this is telling us here. And when I say here, the heart, I'm not talking about our emotions. And in fact, we will do a talk on whether we can trust our emotions. And we're not talking about emotions. Love is not an emotion. It's an experience. It's a direct connection with life. And so when we connect this inner knowingness, this inner space, that's when we can be guided more true than our mind. And meditation simply means no mind. It means just letting go of the mind. It means taking a holiday from the mind. And I know a lot of us look forward to holidays, want to go away, want to go to the beach, want to go wherever we want to go, to the mountains. Why do we want to do that? Well, because then I'm going to feel different. Why will you feel different? Because for a brief moment, your mind may just shut up.
Or just withdraw a little bit, hey?
Yeah.
It sometimes just withdraws a bit because we're not
Doesn't want to
fixated on survival and doing all the things that worry us every day. So we get a little bit of a break from it.
From that.
So it's almost like the mind, mind never, it's always there, but it's sort of in the background. So when we meditate or when we have quiet time or we spend time on the beach or in nature, that blaring mind, like a big radio station in our heads, kind of goes to the next room. So you could almost see meditation in a way as being in a state of observing the mind. Because a lot of people, and I know I also used to say I can't meditate, my mind's too busy. And I'm sure some of you will agree. Let us know if you've ever said that. I sit down and my mind won't shut up. It'll just carry on. So obviously I can't meditate. And it's a misnomer because it's not true. Well, all that's happening is that you're sitting down, giving some space, and the mind is blaring even louder at that time. So it's just to realize it and to see it. So meditation can also be seen as observing it, but not following the mind. So you're still going to have thoughts, probably, until you enter a very deep state of meditation where there is no thought. But on the journey to that state, you might experience thoughts, but the trick is not to actually follow the thoughts. So you notice a thought, you recognize it as a thought, and then you let the thought go. As opposed to living in a state which we live in most of the time, where we follow the thought. So you think of a pink elephant, and then you think of somebody who told you about a pink elephant, and then you think about the person who told you about him and a meeting that you had 10 years ago, and that's where the mind goes. And then you're away. So that's my interpretation. The way I've kind of managed to work through my issues with meditation was to notice the mind, to not despise the mind, because the mind's part of us, but not to follow it, to actually observe it.
Yeah, to be the observer.
Yeah.
That's what meditation is, because if you are observing the mind, then you can't be the mind.
Yeah.
So you are starting to recognize that you're in the space of no mind observing the chattering, judgmental mind. And it's just that stepping back, that pausing and observing the mind. Now, meditation can be formal meditation. You can sit, light a candle. For our Sunday night satsangs, we always have a nice candle that's lit here on the table, and you're burning a bit of incense, and that's fine. You can do that. But real meditation is when you, during the day, moment to moment, are able to observe your mind. If you're driving the car, you're observing your mind. Even when you're talking to someone, you step back into that quietness and just observe what is happening in this moment from a no labeling point of view, just observing directly with that situation. Meditation has major benefits, health benefits on the body, both physically and psychologically.
Yeah, it really does.
Yeah.
First of all, they say that any time spent in presence, which you could say is meditation, where you're actually having a little break from the jabbering mind, you rewire your brain. So all of those exercises that you do to try and find out how to better your brain and all of that kind of stuff, you don't have to do that. You just have to go into presence more often, and it automatically rewires. And that's not kind of a thumbsuck thing. That's scientific. They've proven it. Yeah. That the brain starts to. That's the beauty about the body, isn't it? If you actually let it do its own thing, it actually heals itself. We have the mechanisms in our body to do that, and the brain has the same ability. It starts to rewire itself if you just give it a time to do that. It's like the body will heal if you give it enough time to heal, and if you rest it. So it's like a sort of a rest from the mind, isn't it?
Yeah, the one thing that creates the dis-ease, what takes us out of ease into dis-ease, is the thinking mind. And all healing comes from a place of ease. Yes. The more aligned with that ease, the more we're going to heal, both psychologically and physically. So, the first part of meditation is to value meditation. If we don't value meditation, we won't give it our attention. We won't give it enough of our day, because we all, have a hierarchy of things that we value, and the things that we value, we spend the most money on, the most time on, we give the most attention to. So I'm going to suggest that meditation should be very high on your list of values. So we have a mind, a thinking, judgmental mind that's based in memory and anticipation, and it's a very, very valuable tool. It's the most complex mechanism in all of creation. It's wonderful. It's so magnificent in its design. And the problem isn't in that. The problem is in our losing ourselves in that. So the first part is to recognize that the mind itself, particularly your brain, is a receiver and a transmitter of information, but is not the source of consciousness. Consciousness is the all that is. In fact, the whole universe is a conscious being. And I came across a report this couple of days ago about how, and I don't quite understand it, but they've managed to find galaxies that communicate with each other through a dance. In other words, there's a connection, there's a non-local connection between galaxies that are so far apart there can't be any means of communication between the two. But they know that one changes direction slightly, the other one also. And it's incredible science. I mean, I don't know how the guys worked this out, but that the whole universe is interconnected. Now, when we go into stillness, which is what meditation is, when we go into that quiet space between our thoughts, we connect directly with that intelligence. So although your mind has a limited intelligence and a very useful intelligence, yes, it can remember things from the past and it can anticipate things in the future, it is severely lacking in the intelligence that the universe has. So by becoming quiet, we tap into this, and Albert Einstein called it that intuitive wisdom, that intuitive intelligence within us. He said we have the rational mind, which is a faithful servant. It's a very limited servant. It can do certain things, very valuable. But in fact, when we go into the stillness within us, that's when we connect to this incredible intelligence. It's called genius. Genius is not in your head. It doesn't come from education. It comes from going into the space between your thoughts. That's when that eureka moment, that aha moment comes in, is when you go into that quietness and that stillness between your thoughts. And it's like any muscle. If you only practice it once a week, well, you're not going to really change your body. But if you do it at least once a day in formal sitting meditation, and then in pauses, quiet pauses during the day, you build that spiritual muscle, and it will expand your connection to this intelligence called life. That connection will grow, and you'll be guided. You'll find yourself guided in magical ways. Problems will just be resolved at a deeper level instead of having to worry about something and sort it out. Because you're connected to the all that is, you will find your life starts to flow in miraculous ways.
Oh, you're connected to the field of all possibility. Yeah. And that's the eternal field. So you're not separate. We're not separate from it. So when we quieten the mind, which is always judging, which is fine when you need it to judge, but not when you're trying to be quiet. When you quieten the mind, you are connected to that field of all possibility that John's talking about, which is the field, dolphins communicate with each other. I read a book years ago, dolphins communicating with elephants. They connect through the field. They can't hear each other. They're in different countries.
Different dimensions.
They're different dimensions, but they can connect in that field of energy. And again, it's this whole emphasis on, we are not separate, we are energetic, and we are all connected. So, you see John and I as separate people, and we are, he's got a name and agenda, and I've got a name and agenda. But actually, we're just vibrating energy patterns that are having an experience as John and Michelle, speaking to all of you who are also doing that. But we're speaking on a deeper level. When we're speaking on a deeper level, we are all connecting in to this oneness, to this field of all possibility. And that's where our power lies as a collective. Because if we are influencing, and whatever we put our time and effort into, our time and dedication into, we are changing the field. We're changing the field. So when we're all doing something which is changing the field for the better, then it's going to be much, much, much more effective.
Yeah, and when you say for the better, so we started out talking about this heart-centeredness, the field of love, and that's what the heart does. Yeah. The mind, on the other hand, knows nothing of love. It knows about attachment and preferences, but doesn't know love. What the mind knows very, very well is fear and anxiety. So the more time we spend in the mind, the more anxious, the more fearful, the more judgmental, the more angry, the more guilt-ridden, whatever we will be. That will be the world that we inhabit. The more we center ourselves in meditation, coming back to the present moment, which is always here and now in our heart, it's right here. The more we start to feed the field with a completely different level of vibration. And as we feed that field with a different level of vibration, love, focus not in fear anymore, but in love. So we change all of reality. We change the entire planet. We change everyone living on the planet by feeding the field of love. So this first section we're talking about is really to help you value meditation more than a lot of other things we spend our time and effort on.
And a lot of people will sort of say, but I haven't got the time to sit and do nothing. I'm sure you've had that. I've got so many things to do, so many things to achieve. And what are you doing when you're just sitting meditating, just doing nothing? And it's not true, because when you're meditating or just being quiet, you're doing everything, because you're aligning to all that is. You're aligning to that field. You're replenishing yourself. You are filling up those tanks. So if you feel depleted, I was reading something earlier that, there's a difference between tiredness and depletion. Depletion, I think it was Rohana that sent it to us actually. Depletion is when the glass is empty and there's not much you can do to fill it. It's got to fill itself. And meditation does that. It restores. It fills us up. It fills up our tanks. It grounds us. It stops us from worrying so much, from being so anxious, or from being resentful about the past. So it does, and it actually heals the body, apart from anything else.
Yeah, that's something to really put into the list of attributes of meditation. Is it does bring about healing, psychological, mental, and physical healing. Healing is to make whole again. And when we go into a quiet space within us, when we become more the observer of our thoughts rather than the reaction to our thoughts, the body goes back into homeostasis. Your endocrine system goes into balance. You really switch on the body's ability to heal itself and to bring back to normality every single metabolic process in the body. So that's something else you can put in your tick box as to why you should value meditation rather than whatever else you get carried away with.
And it leads us into an expansive state, an open state. And in an open state, that's where we heal. So if you read books like Anita Mujani's book and a few other people who have had miraculous healings, they've entered into a very expanded state. And meditation does that. It gets you into an expanded state, so you're not contracted and restricted and scared and worried, which is when you close down. It opens you up and softens you so that you're actually not separate. You're not putting up walls to the rest of life.
Yeah.
To life.
And there's something else to value in meditation. The more soft you are, the more open you are, the better your relationships will be. Yeah. So meditation will have a direct influence on your relationships. The calmer you are, the more centered you are. If you are, because meditation is a state of receptivity, it's listening. So if you go into your relationship, if you meet your partner or even your work colleagues in a state of truly listening, in that meditative state, you will find that communication will improve dramatically and that your relationships will improve. So there's something else you can put into your list of things to value about meditation is the improvement in your health and the improvement in your relationships, improvement in your intelligence. We know that when you're stressed and when you're worried, your intelligence drops. When you're in a state of peace or meditation, your intelligence vastly improves and you have access from that state to that field of genius, that field of intuitive knowingness without having to think about it in a linear way. So just to talk about time there for a moment, mind and time are exactly the same. Mind and time are exactly the same. And when we go into meditation, we enter into what's called the vertical plane. We enter into presence. And in presence, there is no time and there's no mind. But there's infinite intelligence in that state. That's when your body knows what to do. That's when you automatically take the right path, make the right decision. So those are all ammunition, if you want, that you can use to dedicate more time in your day to meditation, both formal and informal meditation.
Also makes you more creative.
Yeah.
Because that's where you get your creativity from, and more able to do stuff that you wouldn't be able to do. So when somebody, for example, an extreme sportsman, they have to be 100% focused, which means that they're actually in a state, in that way, they're not sitting meditating, but they've actually taken everything else out of the equation and they are absolutely focused on putting that little peg in the mountain, in the rock, in that moment, and putting that foot on that rock. So they are 100% aligned in that moment with the present moment. They cannot think about something that they're worrying about in the future, because they will more than likely fall, which is why I think a lot of extreme sportsmen, actually it becomes a thing. They have to do it because it's the one time that they actually feel completely connected. So it's for us to actually find ways of doing that bring us into presence throughout the day. And I think it's quite interesting because I think to set up your day with a short meditation is really, really
Right,
important.
early in the morning.
Really important. I mean, even before you get out of bed, you know, to actually just bring yourself into that, because you're already still in a quiet space already. And then to end your day like that. And then as John said, throughout the day, to pause. Pause is an incredible method, if you like, of just pausing in between this and that. So in between getting up off the chair and walking downstairs or walking into the kitchen, you pause. You just punctuate your day with pauses where you just, one breath, pause. Before you're about to react to somebody, pause. When you're doing a chore, do the chore and make that into a meditation. Wash the dishes with full focus on washing the dishes. Brush your teeth, full focus on brushing the teeth. Those things, for me, that starts to actually train that mind. It starts to quieten the mind and starts to actually build that muscle. It really does.
Well, when you start to really know that mind and time are one and the same,
Yeah.
and guess what you're normally doing when you're brushing your teeth? You've gone off in time to the future, and you think that you ought to be, already making breakfast when you're still brushing your teeth.
Yeah.
Or you ought to, you're in the supermarket and you're shopping and you're putting stuff in the trolley and you think you ought to be at the teller already paying for those groceries. And when you get to the teller and you're paying for your groceries, are you now blissfully happy that you've reached your goal? No, because you think you ought to be at the car putting them in the boot of the car already. And when you are eventually at your car putting the groceries in the boot of the car, are you then blissfully happy? No, because then your mind has gone out ahead of you again and it's thinking about, getting home, packing the stuff in the shelf,
Cooking the
making
meal.
supper, putting the kids to bed, washing the dog, whatever. It's always in time. It's always chasing something other than this. So meditation is being fully comfortable with the isness of this moment. In fact, it's honoring the sacredness of this moment. It's honoring the sacredness of presence. Now, if we think Michelle mentioned about, a climber putting a peg in the rock, and if he's busy thinking about, what he's going to have at lunch tomorrow, he's probably going to fall off that mountain. So extreme sport is a very good tool to clear the mind.
Except you can't always be doing extreme sport. That's
but the
problem.
same situation is we wonder why sports like golf are so popular. Because in order to get the ball to go where you want it to go, you have to clear your mind. You have to be in a state of presence. And in fact, the more a sportsman or woman is able to do that, to clear their mind absolutely of everything else, the more professional they're going to be superstars. And it's the ability to clean your mind. You clear your mind. You've got like 2 million people watching you putt this ball. And if your mind gets in the way, it's just not going to go where it's meant to go. Yeah. So it's to know that these top sportsmen have found a way of getting into the quiet space between their thoughts. The same as a rugby player or cricketer, getting into that quiet place. In that place, your body becomes coordinated because now it's taking instructions from your heart, not from your worrisome, troublesome, fearsome mind anymore. The same with fishing. Another thing is fishing. I mean, what are they doing? Standing there all day. Because it allows them, it gives them an excuse. I'm doing something, but I'm actually doing nothing. And in that space, that meditation gives people the cleansing, it's almost like what's called a defragging of the mind when you do something like that. And any repetitive exercise, sewing or knitting, not that I do either of those, making art, they're all beautiful processes of stilling the mind. I was speaking to someone earlier and they got for Valentine's Day a paint by numbers kit, and they say, what a difference when you paint by, your whole mind becomes just clear and you're focused in the present moment. So there are many things that we can do, many practical tools in our day-to-day living that take us to meditation.
Walking. I mean, you can walk you set the intention of going for a walk and meditating on the walk. So instead of talking to somebody else or talking in your own mind, you just focus on each step that you're taking. So like you do in a meditation where you focus on your breath, you focus on the step as you focus on putting your foot down on the ground and then lifting your foot and putting your foot down on the ground and coordinating your breath and your feet, just noticing it. and just noticing exactly what's in this moment, and you will be in a meditative state. As long as the mind doesn't take over and you go off into a whole story, and that's fine, and you bring it back to the next footstep, whatever. But walking is also a very effective tool as a meditation. If any of you do art, then doing mandalas, which are those round pictures with a circle, usually with a dot in the middle, they are meditational tools. So when you're doing a mandala, it naturally takes you into a place of presence. It just does that. I know, because I do them. And it's a very, very, very effective tool. It's used widely in the East. And then you can meditate on the actual symbol of the mandala, which then takes you into presence by looking at the symbol, which they often use as a meditational symbol as well. Yeah.
So hopefully we've inspired you enough to value meditation maybe a little bit more than you have in the past. What we'd like to do now is just share some practicalities as far as meditation goes. So Michelle mentioned earlier to start your day with meditation, and you can get to help with the mind when you're waking up. You can get a beautiful guided meditation to listen to first thing in the morning. If you have done any of our courses or you're currently on a course with us, well, you're given one of those every day. You've got your guided meditation. It's really good to start that first thing in the morning. Before you do anything, do your guided meditation. Formal meditation is also important. So what you would do there is you'd set aside a little place in your house, a little sacred section. You maybe put some sacred ornaments there, maybe a crystal or a picture of someone that inspires you to connect with your divine self, maybe a candle, some incense, and you have dedicated a little spot in your home to your meditation. I remember when I started meditating, 20 odd years ago, for the first time formally every day, we had one bedroom that had become a junk room. It had all the stuff from the whole house in there, and I made my way through because my daughter was doing art, and all her pieces of art and broken stuff. Really, you battled to get into that room. And I made a little place on a desk and had a little candle, and it was hidden away there, right? No one even knew I was doing it. And a beautiful little sacred place that I made, and I'd go and do my meditation there every day. So just prepare yourself, set aside some little place in your house to do your meditation, your home to do the meditation, and then make an absolute commitment that you will do your meditation before you start your day. Make it the most important thing you can do today.
Yeah, there is a little bit of a difference between meditation and visualization. So visualization is where you're actually visualizing something. So your mind is a little bit more active because you're actually seeing things, or you're imagining things, or however you imagine things. Whereas pure meditation is none of that. It's just bringing yourself back to either the breath or to a mantra, or to, if you can even meditate with your eyes open and look at a candle or look at a flower. You can meditate like that. It's different. So, try both. What often works is doing a little bit of visualization and relaxing your body, relaxing your mind, doing a bit of visualization, and then ending off with a period of time where you just sit and you just focus on presence. And you just notice the thoughts coming and the thoughts going, and then you bring yourself back to presence. So another thing that we often do, every week actually on a Wednesday, we get together with a very small few of us, and we meditate on a Wednesday night. This is our night off, and we put on beautiful mantra music, or just beautiful music. You can put up beautiful instrumental music, and you actually feel yourself going into that moment of stillness quite quickly.
Yeah, mantra is very powerful. It's a very good tool.
It's been designed to do that.
Because if you're using mantra that's not in your language,
you don't think.
Maybe it's in, for example, Sanskrit, or maybe it's, the original Catholic Mass was fantastic when it was in Latin, and it would take you into that space. And when they changed it over to English, suddenly the logical mind got involved, and it lost some of its sacredness in that. So mantra, very, very powerful. Get download whatever, a beautiful mantra, something that doesn't trigger any emotions.
That's right.
So it shouldn't be a piece of music that you've listened to and you've embedded some sort of
Take you
emotional
off.
memory in it. You want something that has no memory, something that just is beautiful, something that's going to open your heart without any need to understand the lyrics, just to be there in that beautiful, beautiful present moment.
Yeah.
So that's something we can recommend. So just to sum up, that is to start your day with meditation, to commit to that. And, I would just suggest, because I know, when you're waking up in the morning, your mind starts going to maybe have a guided visualization on your phone or whatever, and put headphones on, even lying in bed for 15, 20 minutes doing a guided visualization. And then if you can, set aside another 10 or 20 minutes to go and do some formal sitting meditation. You put some sacred objects there. I've got a couple of bowls and things like that, Tibetan bowls, and that's beautiful to ring them. Just puts you into that state of centeredness. But then, really important is during the day, you continually come back to presence, come back to that centeredness. You come back to that space between your doingnesses. So, if you're going to go in your car, you get into your car, and before you turn the key, go into that space, go into that center, even just for 10 seconds. You just break the mind. And that's the other one, the breath. It only takes one breath taken with full awareness to bring you back into that clear space, that meditative state.
And it's interesting because the root word I discovered for spirit is it's breath. Breath is connected to the root word for spirit, which is in respiration and expiration, when we expire. So the breath naturally connects us with spirit. So we never underestimate the power of a breath to bring you back into presence. I have a very active mind, and I know that works. And I know that the more I use the breath, the more I'm able to actually bring myself into that pause throughout the day, the more at ease I am. And we were talking about that and saying it's about ease. And so when you go into call it a formal meditation, and your mind is active, don't be upset by that. Just notice it. Just notice it. Yeah, oh, here's a thought. Okay. Because that will stop you. If you try to clear your mind, you'll get more and more frustrated. And then you might not actually do the meditation. I know that stops many people. Because I mentioned to people, they said, I can't meditate. My mind's too busy. It's not. It's just training. And as you start to do it more, you need to do it more. You want to do it more because you feel more at ease. And I do it throughout the day. I stop at little intervals throughout the day and just take a few breaths. And it brings you back. Especially when the pain body's tapping you on the shoulder, or anxieties or worries or things that you're concerned about are big. Bring yourself back to the breath.
And use nature. Nature is such a powerful, powerful energy to bring you into meditation, to no mind. Admiring a flower or a leaf or an ant or a bird or a butterfly or a cloud in the sky. Just be in awe of that, and your mind clears. Your mind clears, your heart opens. Yeah, so hopefully that's given you some pointers. Hopefully you value meditation a bit more, and hopefully you will dedicate a certain amount of your day now to meditation. It really is important. And if you just think of it as not only going to improve your mental, psychological and physical health, but you're actually also feeding the field of healing for the whole planet. And what the world needs now is not more thinking, it needs more presence. And you can be a conduit for presence to enter the world. You can be a conduit to feed the field of love. And I would suggest that, there are not very many people who are privy to this type of satsang, that there's a great responsibility on your shoulders to feed the field with this higher level of vibration, of frequency, which comes through the portal of meditation. Yeah. So thank you for joining us.
Yeah, I'm going to lead you out with the meditation now. We are in our Inner Space platform, which is our monthly subscription online platform. So we have a really beautiful community there. It's incredible. We have 2 Zoom calls a month, and you get a themed page with meditation and various other creative exercises and things that you can do throughout the month. And the theme for the month of March is going to be divinity, and that's got to do with meditation. So we're going to be focusing a lot on our inner connection. It's going to be really cool.
And you're all welcome to join. It's just a month to month. There's no commitment. You can just join for 1 month if you like.
Yeah.
If you join for a year, you get 2 months free. It's in a space, and that you can take a look at it. It's on our journeysofawakening.com website. Journeysofawakening.com website, inner space. And meditation is all about cultivating inner space. And when you live from inner space, your life will improve dramatically. Your circumstances, how you experience the world around you, will most definitely improve. And there are a lot of challenges at the moment. There are a lot of changes taking place in the world, a lot of uncertainty. But when you live your life from this inner space, you become far more centered, far more peaceful, far more secure. So thank you. If you've enjoyed this evening, please just press the like button and share, and give us a comment. If you've got any questions, please put them in the comments bar. We love reading those.
Or things you'd like us to cover in another
Thank you.
Satsang.
Yes. Shall we ask Michelle to lead us out now?
Sure. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. So let's get ourselves comfortable, preferably sitting up, and with the back straight, or just make yourself comfortable but be upright if possible. And take a beautiful breath in and a releasing breath out. And now bring the breath up in from your belly, so expand your belly as you breathe in. Bring the breath all the way up, all the way, all the way up, all the way up, filling it up, expanding, and then letting it go. And as you let it go, drop the shoulders and just soften your body. And now just connect with your breath, your normal breath. Not trying to change it or make it into anything else. Just notice the breath coming in and going out. Notice how the breath feels on your nostrils as it enters into your nostrils. And feel it as it actually enters into your system. And then feel it as you exhale the breath. So just observing the breath. If a thought arises, you just notice the thought. You could give it a nod and let it go and bring your attention back to the breath. Gentle awareness, gentle attention. With each out breath now, just start to relax your body a little bit more. So start with just really dropping your shoulders and putting them back a little bit so that your heart is open. Your hands are open, resting on your lap, either apart or together. If you're sitting on a chair, your feet are both touching the ground, or cross-legged, whichever you prefer. And you just focus on being present in this moment. Just allowing any frown on your forehead to just smooth out. Consciously releasing and relaxing the tiny little muscles at the edges of your eyes, softening your eyes. Softening your jaw, unclenching your jaw. breathing in and softening your nose and your ears. Imagine that your scalp was soft. There's a wave of softness moving down into your neck. Softening and releasing the neck. You might want to move it around a little bit. And then into those shoulders, drop them even more. And just send that wave of relaxation all the way through your body. Let it flow gently all the way down through your body. All the way to your fingers and to your toes. Now imagine yourself walking along a little path. Beautiful path in nature. The temperature is perfect for you. A gentle sun overhead warms your body. You hear little bits of breeze rustling through the trees. The birds as they sing to each other. Feel your feet on the ground, really connecting each step as you walk along this beautiful path in nature, surrounded by an abundance of life. Notice the trees and the plants. Notice the textures on your skin, the smells you can smell. As you walk, you see a clearing. You walk through the clearing, and there in front of you is a beautiful, beautiful, dark blue lake. Very quiet, very serene, very calm. The lake beckons to you. So you make your way to the banks. There's beautiful, thick, luscious green grass. You feel that cool green grass underneath your feet. And you decide to sit down. You might sit next to a tree. And just sit quietly next to this lake. Feeling the stillness of the lake infusing into you. And as it infuses its stillness into you, you infuse your stillness back into the lake. The lake is reflecting the sky above. It seems that everything is connected, everything is one. And you are one with it. And as you sit next to this lake, you feel completely connected. Completely at peace. If thoughts come, they're a little bit like clouds in the sky. You just allow those thoughts to drift on by. And you bring your focus back. Bring your focus to your breath, to the beautiful stillness of this lake. Allow yourself to really feel this beautiful, gentle beingness, which is your essence. is always here. This stillness, this peace never goes anywhere. It's always here underneath the surface of all the busyness. Just waiting for you to connect to it. Feel the feelings inside your body. Feel how you feel in this moment. And now give thanks to the lake and to the sky, to nature and to life. I'm going to leave you in a relaxed state without taking you out of it. But when you're ready, gently bring your attention back to the breath. Gently rub your hands together and open your eyes.
Beautiful.
Everybody's still with us.
I think everyone's still sitting there under the tree by the lake.
Tree.
Yeah, I think so. Did you enjoy that? Let us know if you enjoyed that beautiful meditation visualization. Wasn't that beautiful, hey? Yeah. My turn to choose an affirmation. I'm going to give you an affirmation for the week ahead. Let's just see what we can choose tonight. Just show the camera we've got all these cards to choose from. I'm going to choose that one.
Okay.
Oh, that one wants to come out.
Ah, here we go.
So the one we got tonight is, this is for your week ahead. And affirmations are a great way of changing the neurological pathways through which we filter the world that we perceive. So it's a wonderful tool to help clear the mind. I find the stillness even in this moment. Whatever this moment is, I find the stillness even in this moment. So you're in a traffic jam, you're at the supermarket, whatever, the kids are crying, dogs are barking, whatever. I find the stillness even in this moment. I'll put that up on my Facebook page, John Homewood 7, and you can copy that and take it with you for the week ahead. Thank you for being with us tonight. We love your presence.
Thanks,
here with us,
everybody.
this community, the Satsang. And we are, if you could only see from a different perspective, we are points of light. And these points of light on a Sunday night really do help illuminate the whole of planet Earth. So thank you for being with us tonight. If you liked this, if you enjoyed it, press the like button and share this. Let other people participate in the Satsang. And we look forward to having you with us next Sunday night. Thank
Thanks,
you.
everybody.
Beautiful week ahead.
Sweet dreams.
Thank you.
Thank you.